Hello everyone, welcome to this week's live video, and we are talking about letting go of worrying what people think of you. And this is a really important topic, especially for anyone with like people pleaser or anxiety. We really worry about what people think, and that can tarnish your whole day. It can last for weeks, months. It can be a constant fear. So I want that to stop worrying, you in general, but also ruining your day and something that you're stressing about. And again, just making sure that you know who I am. I'm Lisa. I am the coach here at She Feels Heard and the founder. I am going to share with you today a little insight into my life with using this, because I think, as you know, like, I'm always transparent. Like, these things come up in my life. I'm not like some coach that never has a problem with this and's got it all worked out, and I'm never going to pretend to be. I just don't believe in that. I have not got my whole life sorted out. I work daily on these things, and then I share them with you so you can find support and strategies and tools and understanding, awareness of yourself, right? And that's why I do what I do. And that's what I believe is powerful coaching, not showing you how perfect your life can be if you do all these steps and then you live happily ever after and never have to feel or deal with anything again. There's always things that come up, and this week something has come up with letting people think and talk about you and have a perception of you that you can't control. And so I want you to know that that's okay to feel that fear. It is a genuine human fear, because we want to belong. When we don't belong, primitively, that is it's a massive survival mode, right? You go into survival mode, like, must make sure that they think about me in a certain way so that I don't get excluded, because when I get excluded, that means danger. That means that I'm not going to be okay. And I think we're at a point in the world where we need to realize that we are going to be okay. We're not in those small communities anymore where without that community we are nothing. There's other people, there's other options for us, and letting go of what people think about us, their perception. I don't know if you've heard that quote before. I have to think of it on the top of my head, but basically it's saying, oh no, it like came into my head and slipped away. This is my mind. Basically saying, if you are the hero in someone's story, you're the villain in the other. That's the one that I want to say. And when we try and control other people's versions of us and other people's stories and other people's thoughts about us to become the hero instead of the villain, because we really don't want to be seen as the villain. Because I know deep down, like, people pleasers, anxious attachment, whatever you're resonating with, whatever word, like, deeply empathetic people like us, most people like us, really genuinely care and really want to know that they had good intentions when they did something. They never set out to hurt anybody or manipulate someone or do the wrong thing. Let me know yes below if you agree with what I'm saying, because I think that's such an important part of our world. It's like, we never want anyone to think that, and then sometimes we can do behaviors that try to change that, and then we either worry about that all day, like, what are they thinking, am I the bad person? So it's really normal, and you do that because, like I said, that means danger for you. And remember, we're coming from survival to safety, so we want to create that safety. So letting go of what people think of you is a massive part of that. It is a very difficult skill, and like I said, something that I still struggle with. But doing the work on this has dramatically improved my self-esteem and my self-worth and my confidence, and I want to share that with you today. So I'm going to give you an example first. So this week I had a situation where I discovered another mom was saying some really mean things about my daughter, about myself, and the way it was handled, like, didn't really sit well. Okay. And so I knew not only was she saying it, you know, to her daughter, but to other mums and other people. And so there was this story going around, right? There was this story going around that my kid was, you know, a bad kid and I was a bad parent for being her mum, right? And I thought, I want to change that. Like, I got this feeling in my body, like, I have to change that story because that is not true. And I don't want people thinking that about my daughter, and I certainly don't want them to think about that about me and our relationship and us. And I felt this instant want to react to it, and I was like, oh God, this is not a good feeling. And then I was like, okay, I need to do the work that I would do in my sessions with my clients, right? And so I was like, I used my technique, which is my VRR technique, right? So I validated that experience, that didn't feel great and that could have been handled better. And I know that you're really worried about what everyone's saying and thinking about you. And I was able to then reassure and be like, but you know that that's not the truth. And you don't need to control what other people are going to perceive and think about you. And it's taken me a really long time to get there, but it really is internal dialogue, right? So validating that you're worried about this, that it doesn't feel good, that it's not okay, all the things that my inner self is coming out and saying, I'm not okay with any of this, and I'm really upset and I need to fix it. And the other side of me, this more empowered side, peaceful side, is saying, yeah, I acknowledge all of those fears. Rather than, no, they're wrong, or yes, we've got to fight, and letting her take over, it's like, hey, I really hear all the concerns that you're bringing to the table, but I'm going to choose to not engage in that, to not even accept that as a truth. And that story doesn't need to be changed because it's not my story. If I'm thinking that and seeing red flags, of course, yes, I'm going to do something, right? And it has validity, right? But there are things I can work on that are in my control within that, which is coaching my own child on how to manage that and what to do about that. But I can't necessarily change the story. So if I want to approach that person, I can, and say, hey, look, this has come to light and something, you know, I'm still sitting on doing. But the actual letting go of what that means to them, it's detaching from that ownership. It's just letting someone say those things, and it is so uncomfortable and it is so hard. But that's where the third R comes in. So it comes back like a little bit of the Mel Robbins let go theory, that like let them talk about you, let them, right? That's a really good also a great theory that's similar to what I use. The third one is the R, and that's where you need to learn to like regulate your nervous system back to safety. So you've kind of done the mind work, but then you need to allow that to sit through the body, because what we do is we go, yep, well, we'll just push that down. We'll just push it in the body. Now, as you know, I've got an autoimmune disease from doing exactly that. Hence why, again, no makeup and glasses on, because my poor eyes cannot take it. For those of you that don't know my full story, of course, I will be sharing more as we go along. But from never really expressing effectively, storing things in the body, your body will not be happy. And so we can do the mind work all we want. We can break these patterns and we can say, let them. But when we actually do that, we then need to allow that to move through our body. So it's not just regulating to be like, okay, so I don't have to feel this feeling. You need to feel the feeling, sit through the feeling, reassure yourself, validate and reassure yourself through the feeling until the feeling is gone. So I'm okay. It's okay for me to feel this way, etc., etc. Once that feeling is gone, and again, you can do things to then bring yourself out, so you can, whatever regulation, outside is great, grounding is great, walking is great, quick hands in an ice bowl or cold glass of water, some food, like any way. I never give like one strategy because there's just so many things that you can do, but most of them are free. Like you don't need to do something big. Hugging, co-regulation is great as well. Everyone's all about this hyper-independence regulating. Go and hug someone. The holistic psychologist does amazing things with some eye movements and movements, you know, in and around the house. Like go and do some research on that and find what works for you. I can do another video on more specific ones if you want, but that is really important to sit in it. So I had to sit in this feeling of yuck and be like, okay, great, and not have to fix it. Not be like, I have to fix it, I have to reach out. No, I don't have to do any of that, actually. And I can just allow someone to have a story about me in the world and be okay with it. Because I know in here that that is not true. And if I do feel like it's true, I can address that, like I said. But when you feel in your heart that you're like, that wasn't fair and that was not okay, and I don't need to correct that, that's not on me. I think that that's like, once you get to the end of it, it's super scary, but it's so empowering, and I can't tell you how great it feels. So just let it go, let it melt away, and just allow someone to say whatever they want, and you don't have the urge to correct it anymore. Because, you know, years ago I would, oh my gosh, I'm a good person, like please don't think that about me, I would never do that. And now it's just letting go and letting people. And I want you to feel that way. I want you to feel as empowered as it is. No one wants to be in that situation, but things like that are going to come up. It doesn't matter if it's the exact example or something else. Using that validation, reassurance, and then regulate yourself. Regulate yourself by sitting through the emotion and then finding something, you know, or at the same time finding something to support your nervous system to bring you back to safety. And you might have to do this several times. You know, the insecurity might come up a few times to be able to process that, depending on how difficult the situation is. But that is like my favorite way to sit in it, and I have been actively putting myself in that discomfort and not doing what I normally do. So again, it's all about awareness, right? You come to awareness, I want to do all the things that I used to do, and now you're going to not do that. So you're going to do something different. Remember, you're going to actively make a change, and it's going to be very uncomfortable for the first couple of times you've done it. But once you start doing it, like myself, like now, this is so much easier where I can just like, yep, that's out in the world, that's there, and that's what some people might think about me, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay to be the villain in someone else's life. And all I can do is control my life and what I'm doing, and, you know, my family and where we're at. So when you start doing only that, that's where the empowerment comes. And it's so liberating, and you guys are going to love that feeling eventually. Once all the awful feelings pass. Again, feeling through them. If you do want some support, let me know, or drop a comment if you've had anything like this in your life, and if you or if you struggle with letting people say bad things about you and see you as the bad person. Share your story, ask me a question below, let me know how I can support you better. I'm also going to drop in a link to my calendar if you want to book in for a session with me to make sure you can do this in the best way. Apart from that, that is everything for today. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I will see you next week.